Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever episode of FFG Live. My name is Evan Johnson. I'm the marketing manager for FFG, and we're going to be streaming every Tuesday and Thursday forever, showing off all kinds of our new games and things that we have planned, things that are coming up. And today, we are talking about Shadow of the Beanstalk. So this is the new source book for the Gensys role-playing system. It's based on the Android setting, though you can also hack a lot of the stuff for whatever kind of sci-fi or cyberpunk setting you want. And I am joined by these fine gentlemen here today who are with me. Would you all like to introduce yourselves to the internet and the world?
Sure. I'm Ryan Ritter. I'm a marketing graphic designer for Asmodee North America. I don't know much about the Netrunner world, so I'm excited to dive in and learn more. I've been reading through the Worlds of Netrunner book. I've played Gensys once. I've played our Star Wars RPG a few times, so I'm excited to get even more RPGs under my belt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Derek Shuck. I'm a marketing writer here at FFG. Love Android. I love it, and I'm very excited to dive into this.
And here we have the man himself.
Hi, I'm Sam Stewart. I'm the manager of the role-playing department and lead developer on Shadow of the Beanstalk.
Awesome. So today we're going to be just kind of diving in and creating our characters. So Sam is our game master for this. He has the honor of that. And myself and Derek and Ryan will be making characters and playing those characters on Thursday. So today we're just going to kind of create the characters, show off some of the new options for character creation that come with Shadow of the Beanstalk. And then come back on Thursday, you'll get to see those characters in action in a little one-shot adventure that we have planned. So I guess I will say before we kind of get too far into kind of character creation, we do have Sam Stewart here and we can take questions from the chat. So if you are watching on Twitch or on YouTube, you can shout out any questions that you might have for Sam in there, and we're watching those so we can pick those up and answer them.
Yeah.
But so let's kind of get into this. So how shall we start?
That's a good question.
So the first kind of step is just determining your character's background, and that's something that we've kind of already done a little bit of the legwork on, as far as like what sort of character we want to play. So Shadow of the Beanstalk, I'll use this book to kind of display. So basically, the first chapter here, you've got a lot of just some intro to this is what the universe is, correct? And talking about here's like Luna and Mars, and here's what kind of the corporations are like, and all that kind of stuff. And then we get into character creation right there.
Yeah. Character creation follows the same basic steps. Well, it follows the same steps as in Genesis Core. Mm-hmm. However, in some cases, presents new options. And so when you're making a character, you do just have to follow the steps. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can hop around a bit, but if you're sort of wondering where to go next, going back to this page and checking things off one at a time is often the best way to go. So the first step, as you were saying, was creating your backgrounds, which you guys have already talked about a little bit.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about that a little bit. I guess I'll just sort of share my concept for my character first. So my basic idea is that I want to be a Bioroid, which are, if you're familiar with Android, they're one of the two kind of main types of androids. There's Bioroids and there's clones. Bioroid's a little bit more robotic looking, created and patented, I believe, by Haas Bioroid. They're the only ones who make them. And so I'm going to be one of these Bioroids, a medical Bioroid, to be clear, who has kind of broken free from his, I've been, enfranchised or emancipated is the word I'm looking for, and freed, and I'm sort of living in the undercity of New Angeles, and I want to be a bounty hunter. That's kind of like my hopes and dreams at this moment. Unfortunately, I have all of these pesky directives in place that say things like you can't harm humans or anything like that. So really, I want to find some way to get out of those directives or twist out of them so I can be like a really good bounty hunter. But right now, I'm just kind of a not so great bounty hunter.
You always take them in alive.
Yeah,
That's a thing.
exactly.
I mean,
you know,
always take them in alive in
Right.
your case.
right now I'm working on, if I don't cause lasting harm to them, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
When you first started being a bounty hunter, you went up to them and asked them politely if they would come to the police station with you.
That didn't work so well.
No.
What are you thinking, Derek?
Well, for me, one of the most exciting parts about Shadow of the Beanstalk is the new rules for running. And so that's something I would like to be a part of. So I would like to be a runner. And so that was kind of my basic setup. And where I kind of landed with that is I wanted to be, kind of a corporate drone type person, maybe a sysop for Wayland. Lower rungs, no one important, just a dude.
Yeah.
And then maybe I got framed for some kind of small infraction. Maybe, skimming a little off the top of my paycheck or whatever. I don't know if you've seen, Office Space. Maybe just maybe a little bit more. But I was not actually doing that. I was framed for that.
Totally framed.
Lost my job, and now I run on the other side of the law.
Okay.
Was my kind of basic character concept.
Yeah.
That's really all I have so far.
Totally not bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoping we can flesh it out a little more.
Awesome. I think we will.
All right, I came up with a name for my character too.
Ooh.
Oh my.
His name's Shad Stasny. Yes, Shad Stasny.
You're gonna have to spell that for me.
Shad with an S, not Chad. Shad.
Chad.
Stasny.
S-T... Say that again?
Asny for the last name.
A-S-N-Y.
Yes.
Someone's
there
in the
needs to
chat's
be
like,
a-
that's my name.
I feel like there needs to be a Z in there somewhere.
So,
to make it check.
There was a career that really popped out to me, which was the Riste, which is kind of like you're a son or daughter of like a CEO or you're someone famous.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to play off that and kind of figure out from there what my character is going to be. I've been reading some of the worlds of Android, and there's a character that caught my eye called Miranda Rhapsody, who's a famous performer/singer. But to go back to my beginnings, I grew up in a rich, privileged family. I had the best education. I took fencing classes. I was brought up to be a leader, except I chose to go on a performer's path, and my character got into dance and singing, and he's also a smooth talker. But eventually, he's one of Miranda Rhapsody's backup dancers/singers. But her constant personality shifts and really bothered my character, so he wanted to start off on his own, try his own career. But Miranda wasn't having any of that. Somebody who I think is probably Miranda sabotaged my career. I couldn't get any shows or anything, and I squandered almost all my family's savings, except for a few small personal items.
Right.
Currently, I'm thinking my character could be a club promoter, maybe owner.
I think you need to be a club owner.
Club owner. I like
yeah,
that.
there we go.
Yeah, Shad Stasny would totally be a club owner.
We need a place to crash.
Yes. And maybe he has some. He needs to keep the bills up, and you got to pay protection fees. So maybe he has some tie-ins with some of the criminal underworld, and maybe lo-fi dealing. Who knows? But I really wanted my character to be more social-based and kind of like a smooth talker. Think Han Solo, kind of, but
not good at fighting.
Smuggling.
Perfect. All right. So we kind of got our concepts. So then the next thing
think
is
so.
archetype, right?
That's right. So in Shadow of the Beanstalk, there are 6 archetypes that... 6? Yeah, 6. 6 archetypes that replace the archetypes found in the core rulebook. And so you can choose between playing a natural, which is a regular, average, run-of-the-mill human. You can play a Biroid, which we've already talked about that. They're one of the 2 mechanical people or artificial people in the setting. You play a clone, the other artificial person in the setting. A cyborg, which is more than just a person with cybernetics. The idea is a cyborg is somebody who's really gone all in on the idea of replacing parts of themselves with robotics. Other characters can get cybernetics, but the cyborg is really down for robotic arms and eyes and all that stuff. Or maybe it's been forced upon them and they've learned to live with it. Similar with the Gmod. Gmods are they're not just people that get genetic modifications. In this setting, you can get Gmods put into you and get stronger, faster, smarter, all that good stuff. But these Gmods are like people that may have gotten genetically modified in vitro or in utero, or have just really gone all in on, maybe they've got like animal features, or are, well, like in this picture,
sweet feather hair.
Yeah, feather hair.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Loony, which is a Loony is a inhabitant of the moon, and as you can see by the see by the art, they are someone who's a first generation, has actually grown up on the moon, and low gravity's affected their bone structure, affected their build. They are taller, thinner, tend to be weaker because they've only grown up in, I don't know what lunar gravity is, but it's way lower than Earth gravity.
Someone in the chat can find that exact number
I'm sure.
and let us know.
So yeah, those are your 6 choices.
Cool. Well, we've already kind of talked about that I want to be a Bioroid, because that's just sort of, what my concept is. Basically, so my stats are kind of baseline for the most part, or not baseline, actually sub-baseline, except for my brawn. So I start with 3 brawn and then just 1s across the rest of the board. However, I do have a bit more experience. I have 170 XP to start with, which is a bit more than the other roles. So I can have a bit more room to kind of customize towards where I'm going to go. And we'll get into that as we kind of level up our characteristics later.
Just real quick, to clarify,
yeah.
There was a Bioroid in the Genesis core book.
There is.
Right?
Oh.
And this is different, right?
This is slightly different. We've continued to refine, tested the Bioroid not only in a vacuum, but also tested it against the other archetypes. And the Bioroid presented in this book is better balanced against them.
Perfect.
I believe it even has a higher experience than the one in the book.
All right. And then, so the other things with Bioroids, my special ability is that I don't need to eat, sleep, or breathe, or blink, probably even.
Never blink.
And I'm unaffected by toxins and poisons. And I don't reduce my strain threshold when I receive cybernetics. Really, cybernetics just representing upgrading mechanical parts rather than true cybernetics.
Exactly.
In addition, I can't be healed by medicine or any kind of medical thing. Basically, someone would need to make a mechanics check rather than medicine, since I am a robot.
So the irony is, once you build your character into a doctor, you literally cannot heal thyself.
Yeah, I'll be able to help everyone else. So that is my archetype that I am choosing.
Cool. Yeah, I was actually kind of looking at the Loony, because it just seems like something unique to the Android universe that seems exciting. So I think that's what I'm going to do. My work was on the moon. I've always lived on the moon. So as a Loony, I have 1 brawn, unfortunately, but 3 agility.
Whoa.
And 2s even out the rest of the stats. And then I am a 0G adept. A Loony does not count 0 gravity environments as difficult terrain, so I will be constantly asking you if we're in 0 gravity and reminding you that I am not affected. I'm also resourceful. Once per session after making a skill check, I can spend a story point to have my character re-roll up to 2 dice in the pool, which seems like a lot of fun.
It is,
Nice.
and it's any 2 dice, so you roll that to spare on a challenge die, you can re-roll that too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
That's cool.
Well, after years of oppression and occupation, they've had to learn to be resourceful about it.
Yes.
All right, Shad Stasny is going to be a Gmod. A Gmod is kind of like a cyborg, right? Except for they're more animalistic and it's less extreme.
Well, so they're not like a cyborg. They're like a cyborg in that they're somebody who is really committed to a form of body modification.
Yeah.
In their case, though, their body modification is genetic instead of mechanical. So Gmod stands, of course, for genetic modifications. And your character, since your character started as a Risty, very likely when you were still in the womb, they were editing your genetics to make you all that you can be.
So there's some parallels between me and real life. So it looks like I have 2 brawn, 2 agility, 3 intellect, what I think is kind of cool, can fit maybe my upbringing too, with the 3 intellect, 2 cunning, 1 willpower, which totally fits Chad, and 2 presence. So I get some starting skills. I guess we're going to go into that later, though. Yeah. But I get enhanced genetic modifications. Once per session, my character uses one of their Gmods to modify a check. I may spend a story point to add a success equal to the character's ranks and resilience results. So that's kind of cool. I also get to pick 1 mod that costs a total of 1,000 credits or less. Yeah. So I was looking at those. There's a lot of options.
So yeah, genetic modifications are a upgrade. Some people will be familiar with cybernetics from the Genesis core. Gmods are sort of similar, but also work very differently as is appropriate.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look forward to seeing which one you choose.
All right. So we've got our archetypes and that kind of written down. So then we go to
choosing careers. Yes.
So I already know basically what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a bounty hunter, though, as we kind of mentioned, not necessarily. Not reaching my full potential yet. But,
aspirational bounty hunter.
Exactly. So bounty hunter, one of the things that I love about this book, okay, thanks, Ryder. Yeah. One of the things I love is that it's got this kind of useful talents box, which you may be able to see, where it just kind of recommends some talents that might be useful for you starting out. And I'll probably be drawing on some of those as well as some others. But basically, my career skills for this are brawl, coercion, discipline, driving, melee, ranged heavy, resilience, and streetwise. So I get a free rank in 4 of those skills, just to start out with. Then I also get some starting gear. So I could take a bullpup carbine or a stun baton, given my, need to not kill anyone. I'll probably take the stun baton. I also get 2 glop grenades, which is like a grenade that shoots out goo that you get stuck in, which is perfect for me. Perfect. And some light body armor.
So what I'll point out with this, and it's important to note, is that the starting gear, you have a choice, and you can either choose to go down basically the pre-generated gear choices, especially if you want to make a character relatively quick, or you're new to the setting and you're just like, I don't know. We've set up some choices that should come roughly close to the amount of starting gear you start with normally. Your other option, if you've got some ideas of what you really want to do instead, is you can start with a set amount of credits and just buy all your own gear.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So you don't have to decide that now either.
Yeah, well, I kind of like the options here, since there's kind of a non-lethal path where you get this, stun baton and the glop grenades and whatnot. The next choice that's kind of set up there is brass knuckles or 2 slap patches, which is kind of just like a quick-acting kind of a medical thing, which sort of fits with my character, that I'd have this way to quickly heal.
Not yourself.
Other people. Yeah, not myself. No, I don't operate on myself. What kind of surgeon do you think I am?
The cool thing, though, is with skills like this, your character can look super intimidating. No one else knows that you can't kill them.
That's true. They don't. My idea is that maybe I have sweet scalpels that pop out of my fingers or something, but I can't actually do anything with them. They just swing.
Why not?
And then I get some other stuff, some snap locks. Is that kind of like a lock pick or something like that?
No, so snap locks like a zip tie.
Oh, perfect.
So a disposable. Actually, you remember those snap bracelets
from
the 90s?
Of course.
Yeah. Think that, except then it seals and you can't get it off.
So it's like handcuffs.
So they come in all different
colors.
That's
perfect.
You can if you're willing to pay twice as much.
I will stick with the standard issue matte gray. Yes, I'm very practical. And then I get 1 D100 credits.
Yep. Which we'll get to in a bit.
All right.
Before we get too far, I see people asking in the chat if maybe we could give them a quick rundown of the careers in the book.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. So I can flip through the book right here as we do.
Sure.
So the careers are in order. We start with the academic. The academic is a knowledge-based career. Could be a scientist, could be a doctor, could be a researcher of some sort. They are basically all stripes of scholars. The bounty hunter, as we talked about, is the go after people, bring them in, dead or alive, work with law enforcement, or sometimes work outside of law enforcement. Then we have the con artist, and the con artist is
That's sweet.
That art is great.
yeah, that's another loony for you. And yeah, they're con artists, they're rogues. They smooth talkers. They do their best to try and con people out of money.
Or their
criminals.
NAPD badges, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, what, you don't think that guy's an NAPD detective? Next is the courier. Couriers are a career that's focused around driving, navigating New Angeles. They also could do a lot of stuff with like free running and athletics. Like if you have to haul something around a building, you might actually just have to move fast. It seems like a bit of an anachronism, but in New Angeles, there's still an important role for couriers because with runners being so prevalent, sometimes you can't afford to risk sending valuable data or information over the network. Sometimes the most secure way to do it is to put it in a box, put a bomb on the box, handcuff it to a courier's wrist and tell them, get this to down to New Broadway or something, and turn it over to the one person with the key code. So that's the role of the courier. Then we get into the investigator, the PI. Well, it doesn't have to be a PI. This investigator could be a member of the NAPD, or it could be a private investigator. But they're a very noir-inspired character, as you can tell by the fedora. They have a range of skills from being able to bully people into telling them information to being able to get into shootouts, but also investigation and knowledge-based skills as well. So an all-rounded character. They can be a decent fighter, a decent interactive character. Probably one of my favorites. The Risty we already mentioned. That's an aristocrat, somebody who's living the high life, one of the 1% in New Angeles. Now, the thing about Risties is, as you're going to find out, they can fall from their seat of power and get stuck in the underworld and all that, just as anyone else can.
I love that guy's little giraffe that he's
Right?
got in
The
the
teacup
art.
giraffe.
Yeah, he's got this tiny little giraffe buddy.
That's the thing you
it's
can get in
adorable.
this game too, right? Like there's animal companions you can get.
It is,
Yeah.
and in fact, you can. We have a profile for it. If you
Oh,
want
yeah.
a teacup giraffe following you around unsteadily on its tiny little giraffe legs. Next, we have the roughneck. And the way I like to describe the roughneck is, if anyone remembers the movie Armageddon, when they sent a bunch of oil workers into space to blow up an asteroid. The roughneck's kind of that. They're a space construction worker who has to have 2 or 3 engineering degrees to do what they do, but in the end also just needs to haul around girders in 0G and weld them together. So roughnecks are going to be going up the Beanstalk to continually expand Earth's orbital infrastructure. They're going to be working on the moon to build stuff. They're all over the place. Space is booming business in the setting, and so that's what the roughnecks are.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Runner, of course, a lot of people recognize that. A runner is your consummate hacker. They're the ones who go in, try and break into systems. Their skills are all focused around that. They're one of the most singularly focused characters, careers in this in this game. But that makes sense. Then we have the soldier. Soldier's a pretty broad career. We have a lot. Just a decade ago, Earth had a vicious war between the Earth, the Mars, the Moon, called the World's War, and so you have a lot of veterans in New Angeles who are doing all sorts of things with their lives now. You also have plenty of people who could use the soldier career to represent something else. So mafia enforcers, private security contractors, even maybe New Angeles SWAT team might be soldiers, and of course. PriSec, private security in general, is a huge business in New Angeles because why get the government to enforce the laws when you can pay your own people to do it for you? Then we have the tech. Techs could be, again, they're a knowledge-based character, but with a slightly more practical bent. So you could make a doctor who's a tech, but they're more of a computers and mechanics-focused character. Your sysops, your system operators, who are going to be the people who fight against runners, are probably going to be techs. Repair people who work on hoppers and vehicles are going to be techs. And so those are the careers.
So there's 10 careers then
Yes.
that you can choose from. That's awesome.
Rad.
Ooh.
So I am, you just talked for
yeah,
all.
yeah,
whole
Let me just give you
piece.
the info dump right there.
Okay, so I'm Bounty Hunter, as we talked
Yep.
about. And then Derek, what career are you going with?
So like I said, I really want to be a runner.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, there is a fantastic article on the Fantasy Flight website going over how running works in this game. It's super cool, it's super rad.
Yeah.
That's something I want to be doing. I start my career skills are computers hacking, computers sysops, cool,
Obviously.
deception, knowledge of the net, perception, skullduggery, and streetwise, which
Yeah.
seems like a nice spread of things.
Yep.
And then, I get a cool little pad if I choose the starting equipment with a couple icebreakers, a comlink, and I'm probably going to go with a light pistol, but we'll see how that goes.
All
Yeah,
right.
for sure. One other thing mentioned really quick is that each of the careers has this sidebar useful talents.
Yeah.
These aren't talents you have to take, but they are talents we suggest you might find useful in your current career in case you're having a hard time trying to decide what you should start with.
Sure. And those are both from the Genesis core book and new talents introduced here in Shadow.
That's right.
Beanstalk, which is cool.
Nice. All right. What are you? You're a Risty, right?
Risty, yeah.
Yeah.
And so my career skills are charm, cool, deception, knowledge, society, leadership, negotiation, perception, and vigilance. I'm happy with that. Those are all skills I want to be good at.
Cool.
Suggested starting gear. I'm gonna go with the suggested here. And now it says I can get a laser pistol, or a charged crystal katana. I'm thinking maybe my family had a crystal katana that's been passed down through generations, and it's the only thing I haven't pawned off yet recently.
I believe you mentioned something about fencing lessons.
Yes, and I have lessons as well, so I'll be able to use my charged crystal katana, or CCK, as my guy says. I come with a personal comlink, one slap patch. Is that, you said, is like a heal thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Slap patches are the in-setting name for painkillers, which is the general Genesis healing item. If you were looking at Realms of Terranoth, it'd be the same thing. There are healing potions, for example.
Sure.
1 dose of lo-fi, which sounds like a drug.
It totally is.
And 4 doses of stims,
Also drugs.
or 2 doses of sting.
Also drugs.
But are they the better drugs? Because I only get 2 instead of 4.
Define better.
All right. And then I get 200 credits, and then I get to roll a D100, and that's how much additional credits I get to 200.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Because Risties, even the ones who have fallen from grace, they tend to be richer.
Yeah.
The rich don't even go broke like the rest of us.
That's right. All right.
So do we choose the skills, the 4 skills that we want to take a level in at this point, or where should we go next?
You could. That's probably a pretty good time to choose. So
Okay.
you've marked off on your. Here, I'll flip back to this. You've marked off on your character sheets. This is the back of it. Never mind.
Yeah, I
there we
can
go.
show mine.
Cool.
Here.
You've marked off on your character sheets which skills are your career skills.
Yeah, it's the ones with the little.
And as probably everyone already knows, a career skill is a skill that when you advance it, it costs 5 times the rank you're buying to. So rank 1 is 5, rank 2 is 10, etc. Your non-career skills, you're going to have to pay a 5 XP additional tax on top of that. So 10, 15, 20 as opposed to 5, 10, 15.
Sure. So you can kind of go outside of what your career specializes in, but the system rewards you for playing to your strengths. Obviously.
Yeah, and you probably will want to as well, for
Yes.
sure. So actually, now would be a good time to skip back to one element of your archetypes really quick.
Okay.
And mark down the rank of the one skill you start with. So the bounty hunter, the bounty hunter, the loony, is going to start with 1 rank in coordination.
Cool.
You obtain this rank before spending experience points. The Gmod is 1 rank in resilience. Just genetically tougher than everyone else. And finally, the Biroid does not start with a rank in skills.
Rip.
You just don't need to eat or breathe or sleep instead.
Well, that's pretty good. Or blank.
Or anything.
Have we shown off these cool character sheets yet?
I put mine under just a second ago. I guess we can show that off real quick. So these are special Shadow of the Beanstalk character sheets. So these will be available for download pretty shortly. And actually, something we've been remiss and have not mentioned this yet. Shadow of the Beanstalk comes out this Thursday. This Thursday, you will have the chance to get that at your local retailer. So you could be playing along with us as we play on Thursday,
there you go.
if you wanted to. But yeah, the character sheets will be available for download.
There's a few small differences from the regular Gensys character sheet. The one that some of you may have spotted is that there's a section for favors on the front of the character sheet.
I bet we'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. All right. So,
real quick, there's also a couple Shadow of the Beanstalk specific skills as well, particularly knowledge, right?
yes, the knowledge skills are unique to Shadow of the Beanstalk. That's science, society, and the net. So, basic idea is science is going to handle fact-based information, anything you need to remember that you learned in high school or college, probably science, with the exception of humanities. That probably falls under society, along with which fork to eat with when you're at a fancy dinner party and all that kind of useful information. Who's the mayor of New Angeles, what Miranda Rhapsody's greatest hit was, that sort of thing. And then the net is all of the weird stuff that goes on in the network, and it gets real weird in the network sometimes. So
Well, I don't have any knowledge skills, so that's okay. I don't need to know anything.
you just download it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
So we mark off these boxes.
So you mark off the boxes for those 8 skills that are listed as career skills.
Okay.
So in your case, there should be a checkbox for where it says career ?
Okay.
In the column. It'll be the one
Yes.
next to the names.
I like how all the social skills and the combat skills are on the side like that. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So I get to choose, or we each get to choose rather, but I'm the one talking right now. 4 skills that I just get a free rank in. So I'm thinking that as a Bioroid and as an aspiring bounty hunter, probably Brawl and Ranged Heavy seemed like good options for me.
Well, so here's the thing. Do you want to use your fists or your stun baton more often?
Oh, that's a good call. You're right.
Stun
Stun
baton's
baton is
actually a
melee.
melee weapon.
Okay, yep, you're right. Well, maybe, I guess I don't even have a gun at this point.
Not at this point.
I could buy one later, though, potentially. Or pick one up off of someone.
I'm sure you won't be getting into any situations that'll leave weapons strewn around on the
that's
floor.
that's good to know. I would hate to engage in an altercation. Let's see, resilience seems pretty fitting as a Bioroid and a mechanical person.
I'd
I
say
could
so.
have that. What does discipline kind of govern? What is that skill all about?
Discipline's your mental toughness, mental fortitude, basically. So if something terrifies you, you use discipline to resist it. Your You can use discipline to recover strain after after an encounter as you sort of mentally regroup.
That's something that seems like something I'd be good at. I'm a robot.
Until somebody tells you a paradox, and then
just processing. Is the arrow in every space at once?
No.
What is time?
If this object is immovable, but something is infinitely strong, can I move it?
Oh gosh. Shutting down. What skills are you gonna take, Derek?
Well, fortune favors the bold.
Yeah.
And I just picked the 4 that sounded cool right off the bat. Didn't
Yeah.
think about it too much further, so I'll tell you what I have.
Okay, what do you have?
All right. Computers hacking, which seems to make sense for a runner.
Yeah.
And a sysops, both go along with my background and also helping in that situation.
Yeah.
Then I went ahead and chose perception because I think being perceptive is very important in any situation. And then finally, knowledge the net, because I never take knowledge skills, and I'm always the dumbest guy in any RPG group. So,
There you go. Well, I will pledge not to take any knowledge skills. I'll be the dumb one this time. What do you got, Ritter?
For Shad.
Yeah, I need to name my character.
My careers options were cool, which Chad doesn't keep his cool, so we're not putting anything into that. Perception, I'm going to pass on that one. Resilience, I already got one in. Vigilance, no. I think I'm going to go all into social skills here. So I got Charm, I made rank 1. Deception, I made rank 1. Negotiation, I made rank 1. And I made Society rank 1 so I don't embarrass myself during a session and not know something about it.
Good.
Yep.
All right, so you can lie, you can charm people, and if all that fails, you can make a deal with them.
Yes.
Sounds pretty good to me. So that takes us through careers.
now we get to start spending XP,
I
right?
believe so.
All right.
But Sam, I have a problem.
Yes.
And that is, I feel like I don't have enough XP.
Oh.
Is there anything I can do about that?
Well, as it turns out, remember we talked about favors.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those a little bit more. So favors are a thing in in Shadow of the Beanstalk.
Mm-hmm.
They serve several roles. One of them is as a in-game currency. The idea is in the Undercity, your character, it may not matter so much about what your characters have as who they owe and who owes them. So favors are a way of tracking what people owe you and what you owe to other people. And you can redeem those favors for, well, favors. So a couple of examples really quick are, let's flip to that. There are three types of favors: small favors, regular favors, big favors. Small favors might be something like watching your neighbor's cat for an afternoon, loaning them a vehicle for a couple of hours, giving somebody a ride to a location in New Angeles. Really simple stuff. And then there are regular favors, and these are actually things that you might keep track of, you might care about more. You're going to remember if somebody owes you, and they're going to remember if you owe them. That might be watching someone's kids for a week, or maybe giving somebody an item worth 1,000 credits, roughly $1,000, loaning someone their vehicle for days at a time, or even maybe saving somebody from a bar fight or physical harm. And then we have the big favors, and these are the ones that when the mob boss tells you owe him a favor, and you gulp, this is that favor. It might be a really expensive item that you give out, maybe giving somebody a vehicle when they're running from the police, and you're like, I'm not going to get this thing back, am I? Nope, sure aren't. Maybe giving somebody a ride anywhere on Earth, which it's a big planet. And, of course, saving someone's life or killing someone. Those are all the kinds of favors that big favors involve. Starting out, you all have the option of owing somebody a favor.
Yes.
And you can choose not to engage in this, but if you do, depending on the size of the favor, you can start out with more experience or more starting credits. And
Okay.
basically, yeah, so the small favor is going to give you an additional 100 credits of gear.
And there's a whole bunch of different kind of like factions listed in the book that you can like owe these favors to, or they could potentially owe you a favor, right? I mean, we've got the big four in terms of the corps. We've got things like the NAPD and organized crime, street gangs. There's the NAPD now, you know, even like the government and all that kind of stuff. So I've been thinking about this, and I need more XP as well. And then also being a bounty hunter and simultaneously a rogue bioroid,
Yep.
it seems like you know, I'm going to need to interact with the NAPD quite a bit and make sure that they are not, you know, going to, you know, arrest me or, you know, have me melted down or whatever it is, the awful things that they do to rogue bioroids.
Okay.
So my plan is that I probably owe somebody a big favor. So this, and I'm going to take the XP, I think, for the big favor. So that's
Okay.
20 additional XP in this case.
It's a good choice.
How does it sound to you like maybe there's an officer was assigned to my case, and he's the one who is like supposed to be looking for me or whatever, and I owe him a big favor. Like he, you know, found me or something, or I found him potentially, and we struck up this deal in a bar somewhere where it's like, you know, yeah, I will, as I'm like not drinking, you know, as I'm just staring at him unblinking, he's like, I'm like, I will owe you a big favor. and he's like, all right, whatever. Does that sound pretty cool?
I like it.
Cool. All right, so I've given a big favor to this NAPD cop.
And I would like you to come up with the name of the officer who you owe.
Ooh. All right.
You can think about that.
Yeah, I'll think about that.
You have to come up with a name for yourself first, anyway.
Oh my gosh, I still do.
I would also like a favor.
All right.
I'm thinking more the regular variety, and here is my thought on it, and maybe you can help me develop this.
Sure.
Is I got fired, I had no money, I wanted to start running. Where do I get my gear to run? Right? Maybe I am approached by some Orc Crime faction. Does that sound appropriate?
I think that sounds reasonable.
Getting me started in the running game, and you know, they gave me the basic equipment and said maybe we'll be back. That sounds more like a big favor, maybe?
No, I think
a regular?
I think for equipment.
Okay.
And if you're thinking of taking the credits,
it would make
500
more sense for the credits, but I'd want it for the XP. Would I have to do the credits?
So I think that's up to you. It depends on whether they backed you with supplies or they backed you by saying, "We'll give you your starting gig."
Okay.
Your first illegal
Sure.
job.
Okay.
And in exchange, you're going to owe us because we're giving you a chance.
Sure. Okay.
You want that one?
I want that one.
All right.
Okay.
So, what organized crime faction did you decide to inadvisably get in bed with?
Oh man. Well, if we go to the Orc Crime page here.
Looks like there's the Yakuza, the Tri-Mafia, the Chinese Triads, to name a few.
Oh boy.
Los Scorpiones,
Los Scorpiones.
The Scorpiones.
Yep. Well, Sam, let me ask you, as an expert, who makes sense if I'm on the moon? If I'm in high
Ooh,
Mine?
is there a moon gang?
There's
Yeah.
not actually a specific
There's no moon gang?
Well,
Well,
all of
I'm
the
sure
gangs
there
have
are.
a certain interest in the moon. But if
Sure.
you wanted to switch it up a little bit, there's a different illegal organization on the moon that you could have gotten involved with, and that's the Loonies. So Looney is a general name for anyone from the moon. A little derogatory, but it's pretty widely used. However, the people who call themselves Loonies and identify as a faction, they're the people who want to free the moon from control of Earth. They tried it 10 years ago. It did not go super well, but that hasn't stopped them from wanting to continue to try it. And you can find them on page 75.
Ooh, okay. I like the cut of their jib.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you could have fallen in with honest to God, raise the barricades,
Sure.
wave the red flag revolutionaries.
Maybe I'm not all in on their revolution, but like,
Yeah.
It's just a favor, though.
What are you against your fellow lunar citizens? All right.
that sounds good to me.
You're going to owe the loonies a favor. All
Okay.
right.
Are you a self-made man? Do you
mean?
do you owe anyone a favor?
Oh yes, I definitely owe someone a favor. So I was thinking my character didn't start out owning this club. He started out
no.
just being as a promoter, helped around the bar, got things moving. But my character aspired for more in this bar, wanted to own this club. And then maybe a certain gang, maybe the Tri Mafia.
The Mafia. Okay.
Yeah, maybe they approached me saying like, "Oh, we can make that happen for you," and me, I'm thinking, "Yeah, sure," not thinking out the details. The owner met with an unfortunate accident, and apparently in his will, he left the club to me.
Oh, how
Yeah.
convenient.
Wow.
All right.
That's really convenient.
I'm thinking
for you.
I owe a big favor
Yeah.
to this criminal organization.
Yeah, they probably killed it.
Yes.
I mean, they totally didn't kill that owner.
I've decided.
They convinced him to leave me in the will, which was nice of them.
That's so nice of you.
It's unfortunate that it happened so soon.
I've decided on the name of the NAPD detective. This will be Detective Ana Peralta.
All right, how do you spell that?
First name A-N-A.
A-N-A?
Yep. And last name Peralta, P-E-R-R-A-L-T-A.
All right.
I still need a name for my own character. How about the chat throws out some good Bioroid names?
So most
Just ones
Bioroid
and
names
zeros.
are a single name, single first name. So one of the most famous Bioroids is of course Floyd, and then there'll be an alphanumeric combination afterwards.
Okay.
The first name is your model. Now, I will
I'm
also
a medical droid, so...
Now you may have decided you didn't want to stick with your model name after you emancipated.
Oh, I don't think I'm that far developed.
Okay.
we're not that far yet.
Hey man, what about Tunk? You want to be Tunk?
Oh, Tunk.
Yeah.
That's sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I like Ural.
Ural.
Tunk Ural.
URL.
Oh, it's up to you, man.
All right, we're going with Tunk. Tunk, and then a string that I'll just write down randomly. A9ZC6. 6.
When you stopping?
I
Really,
can keep
3
going.
sixes? That's where you're
No,
going with this?
that's a C. That one's a C.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my handwriting is awful. A9ZC66.
6.
Yes.
All right.
I thought about a third 6, but you know.
That was just that was the bridge too far.
Yeah, that was too far.
Yeah, drug dealing. That's fine.
I'm a master of restraint.
Yep. All right. So we only have one missing character name now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any sweet runner names from the chat?
Yeah. Give me a
Yeah.
cool runner name.
It can't be Tunk.
So
Yeah, it
here's
can't
the
be
thing.
Tunk.
I think you need a super normal name.
Well, absolutely,
And then
but-
a sweet net
Yeah,
name.
like
Yeah.
a really edgy net name.
Are you male or female, your character?
I don't know. Give me some names, people, and we'll figure it out from there.
You do
Jeff.
Arnold. For
No,
Arnold
dude,
Running
he
Man.
picked Tunk earlier. Sorry, dude, you can't.
Crash Overdrive.
Oh, Silver.
Ooh,
Snow
silver.
Crash Overdrive.
Derek Shaw.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like Spaz.
No. Come on.
Okay, you know what? Joe Skinner sounds like a great corporate drone.
Ooh,
Boring name.
Joe Skinner.
But then my
Joseph.
runner name.
Oh yeah, it's Joseph.
We have Hackman in YouTube and Thrasher in YouTube.
Ooh, oh, I want to be Thrasher.
Thrasher.
Thrasher and
Oh, wait.
Tunk. That's
Wait.
great.
What if Thrasher is like your net name, but your real name is really just Joe Skinner, but like your code name that you gave yourself is Thrasher? That could
Yeah,
be
yeah,
cool.
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
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 I'm trying to see how you would spell that if there's any
Numbers?
Oh no, instead of the E, it's a 3. Thrash.
Ooh,
all right.
there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me.
Because you're just cool like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
There we go.
John Hackerman. Boot Thrasher with a 4.
Ooh. Yeah, keep erasing that. and
Yeah,
rewriting
just-
it
yeah.
for more numbers.
You have THR4SH3R.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
All right. Well, now we're all loaded up with XP. Or Ritter, are you taking the XP or the credits?
I'm taking the XP.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So now we're all loaded up with XP, and we need to spend some of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here we probably should have talked about this beforehand.
No, that's
but
okay.
in going through skills or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
people are probably familiar with Gensys. You know how to upgrade your skills. I think the real exciting thing is the talents.
Right.
So maybe Sam could talk us through talents while we maybe work on our skills, and then at the end we go through kind of what we picked. Is that
Yeah,
okay?
that sounds
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
All
Let's
right.
do that. All right.
Sam's gonna talk some talents.
Yeah.
Sure.
Talent talk with.
So, I'll flip over to the table that details the talents used in Shadow of the Beanstalk. So, talents are taken from both this book, which have some new talents, and then there we go. And then some old talents from the Gensys core book. And we've listed all of the talents, new and old, on pages 46 and 47, and listed the pages where you can find them. So there's a few.
I just want to see that.
So I won't go through every single one of them, but I'll talk about a few that I think are kind of particularly interesting, that I find fun, and talk about a few themes behind some of the talents too. So one thing we did was we added a lot of new tier 1 talents that play with the favor system and the favor economy. And the idea behind these talents is they can help define your character a little bit more, while they can also and they also let you play around with favors. So a great example of that is Corporate Drone. It's a tier 1 talent, and when you take it, your character gains Knowledge Society or Negotiation as a career skill. So it gives you an extra career skill. And then, in addition, once per session, your character may collect a small favor from any other member of a single corporation. You choose when you take the talent, even if they do not owe your character a favor. And the idea is you've worked in the corporate offices so long of a particular corporation, you know people around there, everyone knows your face, that you can call somebody up and be like, hey, I need a box of pens, or can you just swipe me in at this one location, or some other little favor you can ask for. And we have a lot of those talents for various organizations. So we have Trim-Off Contact, which is similar but for organized crime groups. Union member, you can be a part of Humanity Labor or Human First. There's World's War Vet, years on the force, a veteran soldier, or perhaps you used to be a member of the NAPD. Maybe you had to turn in your gun and your badge. Now you're out on the streets. Anyway, so those are some of the new tier 1 talents we have. We also have some new talents focusing on running. So there's a talent called Custom Rig, which allows you to increase the amount of ice or icebreakers, which we'll talk about more going on, but the amount of ice or icebreakers you can keep on your own personal computer. And Custom Code lets you add an advantage whenever you try and break ice to use your icebreaker. You have to pick a particular icebreaker that it works with because you've tweaked it a little bit to be better. So let's see. So those are like some of the tier 1 talents. So let's go forward a little bit, and we'll talk about some of the more interesting like tier 2 and tier 3 talents. So I mentioned the courier, for example, can be a courier who's literally somebody who runs around New Angeles carrying basically a free runner. And if you do that, you probably want the parkour talent. It allows you to suffer strain to move without spending maneuver. Well, you spend a maneuver, but you can move to any location that's in shore range. So you can go up walls, across gaps, along wires, that kind of thing.
Sam,
Yes.
I am actually looking to buy some talents right now.
Oh,
and I was
all right.
wondering if you could help me.
Sure. What are you looking for?
So, I want to be a runner
Yep.
in the net, right?
Right.
I also want to be a runner physically. I want to do this hardcore stuff, like, I want to be
Sweet.
agile. So I was wondering if you could recommend me some cool talents for that. I heard you talking about parkour, and I'm interested in that.
I think so. Parkour would be a level 2 talent that you might want to consider taking.
Sure.
As with regular Gensys, you must take more. You cannot take more of one level than you have of the preceding level. So if you have 2 tier 1 talents, you can take 1 tier 2 talent. You need 3 tier 1s to take 2 tier 2s to take 1 tier 3, and so forth and so forth.
Cool.
That's why it's the talent pyramid. So
So let's start with tier 1.
let's start with tier 1.
So as a runner, I'm probably looking at like custom rig, custom code.
Those are both good choices. So is Net Search, which is if you need to augment your lack of knowledge skills, you can be really good with internet search engines.
Oh, okay.
There is a drawback to using it, which is if you ever roll a despair on your check, and it always comes to the possibility of rolling a despair, you can find something that's totally believable and also completely wrong.
Okay.
So
Just like in real life.
just like in real life. But for basic, useful runner talents, I'd say custom code or custom rig or both.
Okay. I'm going to go all in on both.
All right.
So can you walk me through? So custom rig, I get an additional icebreaker.
You will get You'll get space for an additional icebreaker on your own personal machine.
Okay.
Most computers, whether they're pads or actual rigs, or even the big rigs that are huge tower machines that you set up in your basement next to your couch and your bag of Cheetos, they all have space, only a certain amount of space for ice and icebreakers, and this lets you put one more on it. It's really good on pads because pads can't hold very much.
Okay. And so getting into this stuff, I kind of need to have my equipment ready, and I think I am just going to select the basic kind of suggested equipment
Okay,
stuff.
cool.
So I will make the pad my custom rig,
Sounds good.
and I will get some cool fancy icebreakers, right? I'll make Gordian Blade.
Yeah, Gordian
Yeah.
Blade lets you get through code gates. That's kind of nice.
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Let's see. Wait, what were your other choices on there?
So I could either have a pad with Ice Wall and Battering Ram, or a pad with Garrote and Gordian Blade.
Okay, let me check something real quick.
Sure.
Because as some people might recognize, different icebreakers are only good at breaking different types of ice.
Sure.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so your Gordian Blade is going to work on. I just need to double check that. Code gates. Well, your Garrote is going to work on sentries.
Okay.
The only thing you don't have is something that works on barriers.
What's gonna stop me? I'm fine.
All right. Maybe you'll have to find some additional ice
Sure.
breakers somewhere else as well.
Yep.
All right. So Garrote and Gordian Blade.
Okay.
You also have no defenses on your pad, which means if somebody tries to hack into your machine,
Again, fortune favors the bold.
Yeah.
So
your entire hard drive's replaced with cat gifts.
Who would do such a thing?
What?
so now that I've met my tier 1 quota,
Yes.
I can take parkour.
You could
There
take
you go.
parkour.
Code Slinger might be the more reasonable choice.
I think you're gonna have potentially have an option to use both of them.
Okay.
You would
Let's see.
need one more tier 1 talent, right?
You
if you're
would.
gonna take both
Mhm.
of those.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Code Slinger's good. It allows you. Normally, you can only have one icebreaker active, which means that trying to get trying to understand what ice you're going to run into before you make a run on a subsystem is really important.
Sure.
Because you run into the wrong ice with the wrong icebreaker. Codebreaker allows you to have both your icebreakers out at once. Just pow, pow, pow.
Sure. Yeah, no, I like...
Or sorry, Code Slinger.
Yeah. I like doing those finger guns. So it's,
All right.
let me ask you this, Sam.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have one more question.
No, please.
The corporate drone tier. I'm a former corporate drone.
Yeah.
Could I have some old coworkers who maybe owe me a favor?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I believe I'm also going to take the corporate drone.
All right. Sounds good.
talent.
And of course, we'd be remiss without mentioning there are, if you wanted to improve your wound or strain threshold, stuff like that, there's always those talents as well from the core book.
Sure. And I'm sorry, tier 1 talents are 5 or 10 XP?
5.
They're 5, cool.
So you'll be spending, so far you're spending 15 XP on tier 1, 10 on tier 2, so that's 25 total. And you could take a second tier 2, and that would also set you up for a tier 3 talent.
Oh boy, oh man, we're going down this rabbit hole, aren't we? Okay,
Let's
so
see.
Well, while you think about that,
Yeah, yep,
I can
yep.
I can talk about how I spent my experience.
All right.
So I dumped a fair amount into characteristics because, I'll put my sheet here so that people can see it. I dumped a fair amount into characteristics since as a bioroid, I don't have such good stats to begin with. So I raised both my agility and my intellect to 3 each, since those seem like things that I would have a lot of as a bioroid and a medical one. Raised my willpower to 2 also, as I'm kind of starting to like try and shake free of these directives, being able to sort of like improve that. It's kind of getting up to baseline. However, my cunning and my presence, still bad at those.
Again, cunning, why would you need that as somebody who works on the streets and hunts people down?
I don't need cunning. I have the right answer. If you have the right answer, it doesn't matter. I bought a couple extra skills. So most notably I grabbed a rank in medicine to kind of match up with that, and then I just picked up a bunch of talents.
All right, what'd you take?
So I took durable, which
Nice.
reduces critical injuries, the severity of those, if I were to take such a thing. Grabbed hamstring shot and knockout punch, so 2 kind of like non-lethal sort of things. One adds
Yeah.
stun to my brawl combat. The other one lets me half damage in order to immobilize someone during a ranged combat. Just shoot them in the kneecap or something, which
Nice.
causes no lasting harm, so it's
No.
fine.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Do you have a rank in coordination, by the way?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. So it's just the standard 2 plus.
All right.
Grabbed a determined driver, since I'm thinking maybe I drove an ambulance or the hopper equivalents in universe.
All right.
And then grabbed a special use permit, which lets me carry those big guns around. I don't have any big guns yet, but I'm planning ahead for this life
You can
that I
borrow it
want
off of
for
somebody
myself.
that's not using it any longer.
Probably something else that you got from that from
Anna
Anna
Peralta. Yeah, Anna Peralta, exactly. She's like, here, I'm not using this anymore. It's expired. And then finally, kind of the coup de grace on top is that I got an animal companion, which is actually a drone. So I've got a little combat drone that just kind of like hovers around behind me and can shoot people because I'm not shooting anyone.
All
If the
right.
drone shoots someone, that's
Do we have
fine.
to worry about
So-
our group being attention drawn if you have a military drone hovering around with us?
It's very small.
So we're
Okay.
gonna, all right. So we're gonna have to talk about. It sounds like everyone's actually going to need a little something extra when we start this game. So
Yes.
we'll have to start making notes of that. You'll need a drone. You'll actually need a drone, not just the ability to control one.
Yeah.
You might need another icebreaker. I don't know what you'll need. Oh no, you need
I
the
haven't
giraffe.
gone over. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
Giraffe? Question mark?
You
Yes,
need to carry that
sure.
little giraffe around everywhere.
I'm not that hoity-toity.
Aren't
You
you?
could be, though.
I could be.
I mean, it's
but
either
Shad
the giraffe.
Stasny is not.
It's either
really
the
a
giraffe or a like portable karaoke sound system.
I would take that over a giraffe.
But the giraffe is named Bubbles.
So I spent my XP on boosting some of my stats, my skills, and a couple talents. So as a dancer and a award-winning fencer
Right.
when I was
Oh,
12.
award-winning.
Yes. A national champion.
Oh. Wow.
I upped my agility to 3.
Nice.
And then I upped my presence to 3. I make myself known whenever I enter a room. I throw my name around a lot, even though it doesn't mean that much to some people, so I upped my presence. As far as skills, I gave myself 2 ranks in melee, so I can be good with my katana.
Nice.
And I upped a rank in charm.
That's a good call.
And for talents, I went to the Genesis book to grab a few. So from the Genesis book, I grabbed Duelist to help. Duelist, whenever I'm fighting a single opponent, I can add a blue die to my pool.
That's going to be helpful.
Whenever I'm
Sure.
fighting multiple people, I have to add a black die,
Yeah.
so which is a bad one. Counter offer. Oh, sorry, that's my tier 2. Let me finish my tier 1. I got Tri-Mafia contacts from.
Nice,
So
nice.
that fits my character. I got that from the Android book. So when you take this talent, your character gains melee and skullduggery as a career skill. You have to choose between one of the two. In addition, once per session, your character may collect a small favor from a member of a single organized crime group chosen when you take this talent, even if they do not owe your character a favor. So I would choose the Tri-Mafia. Which I believe was like Russian. There's like 3.
Well, it's the 3 modern mafias, right?
Yeah.
So the Russians, the Sicilians, and I guess the Irish.
I
it's the
think so,
Irish.
yeah.
Yeah. They've all come together in the future and formed one.
I read
super
they're like
mafia.
the low tech mafia too.
I mean-
they're more street level than like they're
Yeah.
not running nets or hacking.
Not as much.
Yeah.
They're more like they're just trying to stay relevant. I mean, they had to pool their resources to stay a big name in this futuristic world.
And then my last skill I got, which was a tier 2 skill, it's called Counter Offer. This one's really interesting. So once per session, your character can use this talent to choose one non-nemesis adversary within medium range and make a negotiation versus discipline check. If successful, the target becomes staggered until the end of the next turn. Then at your discretion, I can spend points to check the adversary to have it maybe become an ally. So maybe I can throw money at a low level or be like, oh, I'm someone famous. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you helping us out?
Absolutely.
So I just stuck with those 3 talents for now.
It's good that you mentioned that you throw your name around a lot, because I do that too. One of my directives is that I have to declare my name to any civilian that I meet. As soon as we start a conversation, I have to be like, "Hello, I am Tunk, Tunk A9ZC66."
Cool. I spent half of my XP on talents. So,
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
so let's start there. As we talked about, I have custom rig, custom code, and corporate drone as my tier 1s. I chose code slinger and parkour as my
Nice.
tier 2, so I'm agile. However, I found an interesting little thing here in tier 3 called You Owe Me One. So once per session, I can spend 2 story points, which is a steep cost, to use this talent to have one NPC in the current encounter owe your character a favor. If that favor is not resolved by the end of the encounter, it is forgotten. It is up to you and your GM to determine exactly why the NPC owes you a favor. So maybe working
That's
together,
awesome.
we don't
Yeah.
have to fight anybody.
You might be able to get through some stuff.
So I was excited about that. I spent a bunch of points to upgrade my intellect to 3, and then
choice.
not many skills. I took some ranged light because I
If you
feel
have a pistol, you might as well be able to use it.
yes.
Yes.
So I felt that was important, and then I upped my hacking a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So
All right.
All right.
Sounds pretty good to me. So with all that, pretty much you've all pretty much figured out your gear that you're using if you're all doing the pre-generated choices.
Yep.
So that basically leaves us with figuring out your appearance, your looks of character, what you want your characters to sort of look like.
Okay.
And my Gmod will affect that too, right? The Gmod I think.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
actually, we should talk about that because that sort of falls into gear. So let's go deep into the book.
No, I had it and I lost it.
All right, body modification.
What
Page
page
104
number?
is where it starts, and Gmods start on page 106. So just run through a few of the options you have for the people watching at home. So a few of the different choices. The descriptions are pretty self-explanatory for the most part. So if you wanted to, for example, you could have cat claws. Claws come down to your fingers. Chameleon skin, if you want your skin to change color. Enhanced healing does what it says on the tin. Enhanced muscles. Now, this one's an interesting one because you have some choices as to whether you want your muscles to be enhanced for physical brawn and just punching people, or if you want your muscles to be enhanced for like being more agile, more of a gymnast versus a boxer. There's also another enhanced muscle that you could take, which we call geno-sculpted physique, and there, your physique has been tailored solely for prettiness.
Yeah, that seems
I
like
wonder which one I'll pick.
get that beach bod.
And you actually couldn't afford enhanced coordination or enhanced strength, but you could afford the geno-sculpted physique.
Well, Shad, he has an extended line of credit, but we don't need to talk about his financials or
No,
anything.
no.
So he would have chosen the sculpted physique anyway, despite that he can afford everything.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like I can suffer one strain before making a charm or leadership check to add a success to the results.
That's right.
Ooh.
So the way Gmods, most Gmods work this way. There's a few exceptions depending on what we have, but for the most part, what a Gmod does is it'll let you suffer one strain before making a specific type of skill check to add a success to the results. So charm or leadership is what you get out of geno-sculpted physique. You flex a little bit. You push your hair back a little bit. Whatever.
But let's be clear, I don't actually get stronger.
No, you don't.
All right.
You don't.
Okay.
Purely fake muscles.
Yeah. You can make your pecs dance, but you can't actually lift 20 pounds.
Whoa, night eyes.
Oh yeah, there's you can have night vision. You can have you can grow canine teeth or tusks.
Oh my gosh.
So and then you can bite people if you want.
For a brief second, I thought about restarting my entire character, just finding out that I can have tusks. But I'll stick with Shad for now.
You can have toxin filters, which also might be good for Shad because of all the drugs and alcohol he probably
I
consumes.
didn't think about that.
No, you should stick with the geno-sculpted
Okay.
physique. It's perfect for you. But if you were going to get another... Actually, maybe we should talk about that as your other thing.
Oh, yeah. That could
Yeah.
be my... Yeah.
You get a drone, you get an extra icebreaker, you get the
I can
ability to
filter
ignore your
toxins.
terrible all-night benders.
Just imagine if someone throws like a gas grenade in our room. You're in trouble, but
Yeah.
we're okay.
All right, so yeah, those are the Gmods.
So where would I put that on my character sheet? Does that go in just in notes, or would I put...
So you can put the Gmods in either your equipment section
I
or
see.
in your talents and other abilities section.
Okay.
It's wherever you're going to remember it better. So yeah, it's interesting with Gmods and with cyborgs. Both of them have to deal with their strain in particular ways. So cyborgs, they need to every time they take more cyborgs, it decreases their strain threshold. But they have a once per session ability that lets them regain strain. Gmods, their strain threshold doesn't decrease, but every time they want to use their Gmods, they're suffering strain. So they're both that both balances out.
Right. Well, I've kind of thought a little bit about what I want my character to look like and appearance and all that kind of stuff. So as far as gender, I guess I just have kind of like some male programming, but obviously as a robot for medical droids, no actual gender. My age is that I'm 3.
Yep, that sounds about right.
not like straight off the assembly line, but not obsolete. So I'm just a standard, 1.77 meters. Build is, just perfectly like normal, average human shape.
You're not one of the Adonis models.
No.
Where you're not super pretty. Just...
No. Although actually, now that I'm kind of thinking about this, maybe I have like a surgeon's mask, kind of, but it's like built in.
Oh,
it's
man.
like just part
Can
of
it like
it.
just go like this, like and like retract?
If you want that, go for it.
All right, yeah. Well, we'll say it can retract. Not to be too creepy.
Oh yeah, because
But,
that's Yeah, we don't want your character to be too creepy with your scalpel fingers.
I do have
And your
scalpel fingers.
drone.
Yeah, and your little gun
And
drone.
a retractable surgeon's mask that just comes in.
Yeah.
No hair, obviously, and silver eyes.
Ooh,
So that's kind of.
Do you prefer like street clothes? Do you try and sort of hide your Bayreuth identity?
Yes, I was thinking that I would wear like kind of concealing clothes, long sleeves, like probably keep a hood up most of the time.
Sunglasses?
We could go sunglasses. Yeah.
I mean, you got to conceal the eyes. Silver
Yeah.
eyes is not,
All right,
not
sunglasses.
something that most people would.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
So you're wearing the sunglasses like 100 stories down in the Undercity where there's no Roleplaying.
Would that actually interfere with my
No.
vision? Or
No, you're a robot.
Yeah. All right. That's right.
You have
Superheroes.
Ooh. So I still have to decide between whether I take 4 doses of stims or 2 doses of sting.
Well, do we want to get into drugs a little bit? Because we
Yeah.
can talk about that for a
Why
So
second.
not?
what do those all do?
Before we do that,
Oh.
All right.
can I talk about my appearance?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Sure,
all
sure.
right.
Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
how old is the oldest loony? How long have people been on the moon?
It's been probably 30 to 40 years.
30 to 40 years.
Well,
Okay.
okay. That's not entirely true. There have been people on the moon for probably last century or more.
Okay.
But for the longest time, unlike Mars, the moon was a kind of a backwater. Like, people went to Mars because, like, sweet, we're going to colonize and terraform this new planet. They're like, oh, the moon. That sure is boring and airless. It wasn't until the discovery of helium-3 fusion that the moon became a big deal, and that really happened within the last 20 to 30 years.
Okay.
So you could be pretty young, you could be older, but you would be... you would
weird.
stand out a little bit.
Sure. Okay. Because I want to be just this haggard dude who does parkour and stuff.
Maybe you've been hanging out in parts of Heinlein, the city on the moon, that are insufficiently shielded.
Okay.
Ooh.
So you're haggard. You're
All
like
right.
25, but your
Okay.
body is
Yeah.
kind of worn down.
Sounds great.
So
I've been working for Wayland. I've been working for the man. I'm beaten down.
Yep.
But I know parkour. I do parkour in my
Right.
spare time.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like your skin's all like weathered, and
You got
there's
liver spots?
Well, there's like scars where they've had to remove all the melanomas from the radiation and stuff.
All right.
So you look terrible.
Sure. Also, my hair is going to be gray. I'm graying.
Yeah.
Graying,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
This dude who's just had it, but now his name is Thrasher. He's turning his life
Yeah.
around. Like,
Yeah, but you're actually fairly strong.
yeah. Okay.
Well, not strong. You're agile.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's what I'm going
Yeah.
for. Agility.
Yeah.
So.
People underestimate you because
Yes.
of your old
My-
man appearance.
When you and Shad go out, you're always the wingman.
Sure.
Shad needs no wingman.
I have an entourage. They're all paid.
an
They're all
I was
entourage.
going to say, your entourage is all of your club employees.
Yes.
Fine, we'll go out with you, boss.
Do we get overtime?
Again.
Wearing their like polos.
Yeah. A bunch of staff polos, yes. Okay.
All right, drugs.
Yeah,
Yep.
so let's talk about drugs.
Oh, they look like they don't have many benefits.
Yeah, because it turns out they're drugs, so they're not actually like necessarily great.
So the first one I get is page 99.
Thank you. There it is.
First one I get is Lo-Fi, which is a popular plaza level drug among the idle rich or obscenely rich.
No.
Small blue gel tabs slow down a user's time perception while providing some truly epic hallucinations. The results can be amazing trips. They feel like they take hours, but only last a few minutes.
Yep.
And it looks like it's not good.
No, it's
I free maneuver that turn in the next 5 rounds. In addition, I get those disadvantages.
yeah, 2
Get
threat.
two threat. All checks I make during that time.
You do get some truly epic hallucinations,
Yes.
and you get to enjoy yourself, but yes, you do get high, and it makes you worse at just about doing everything else.
Or you could give it to
Yeah, I
somebody
can use
else.
it as a commodity. Yeah.
I'm sure it will encounter someone who wants.
Right.
All right, so I get that. There's no choice in that matter. I get lo-fi. 1 dose. Let me go back to my... so now I have to choose either 4 doses of stim and 2 doses of sting.
So, stim has uses. So when you use stim, you're going to heal all your strain, and then at the end of the encounter, normally you would recover strain as normal. At the end of the encounter, you just suffer 10 strain, which is probably enough to knock you on your butt. But you can make an average resilience check to try and reduce the strain that you suffer. But basically, all it does is it keeps you going during the encounter, and then afterwards you're gonna pass out.
Right.
So that has arguably a potential use. Sting also is one of those arguably has a potential use. If you use it, you can ignore any penalties from any critical injuries you're suffering. However, at the end of the encounter, you no longer ignore those penalties because it doesn't heal your crits.
Yeah.
Just lets you ignore them as you run on your broken leg and do all sorts of dumb things. And then you suffer 4 strain and 4 wounds.
So let me ask my doctor, which would you recommend for me?
No drugs are recommended for the organic physique, especially somebody in your condition.
I think I'm going to go with stim. I'm going to go with stim.
All right.
I will take those crits. Live life on the edge, as my friends say.
No. Stim's the strain healer.
Stim heal strain.
Sting is probably the one used more by like street gangs and stuff like that.
I'll play to my character. So I get 2 stings.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we should roll for our money too, shouldn't we?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta start with some extra credits.
Yeah. All right, let me pop this guy open.
Those are my free drugs.
All right, so 10s is 4, 1s is 4. So I got 44 credits.
Nice.
All you have left. All you have left after your last job.
Well,
All right. No,
I mean,
6.
I did
That
ask them to
counts.
turn themselves
All right,
in, and they
yes.
went along. It wasn't a high-profile bounty.
66.
66.
All right.
All right, so 200.
Plus.
Ooh, not good. 16.
All right.
Oh darn!
16.
It's only 216 credits, plus a katana made out of
A
strange
rarity
metal.
10 katana.
Yeah.
I hope everyone knows that. I'll be showing that off.
Yeah.
How
Oh, you
fancy.
should. So just so you know, your charged crystal katana. Let me find it here. Is there we go. So
Thank you.
imagine a milky crystal blade that when you run an electrical charge through it becomes like all the crystals line up. It changes color slightly and it becomes nearly indestructible.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Now, Shad only has one question.
Yes.
Shad wants to know, can it be concealable and he can extend the blade?
I'm gonna say no.
Oof, I'm going to look really bad carrying around a katana all the time.
But if a blade can do it,
Yeah.
walking through the
Oh,
streets
that's
of
true.
New York.
Yeah, on his back. Just can't bend down at all.
No, he can't.
But-
Well, I mean, it is sticking up the back of his neck, but nobody ever bothers him. Nobody's ever like, "Hey, are you carrying a katana?" Everyone's like, "No, that's
fair.
cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it."
Hey, have you paid your taxes? Or that's probably what he gets asked more. Whoa, okay. So there's a lot of things here.
Yeah, it does
So
a
it-
few things.
So it's defensive 1, which I'm
Yeah.
assuming helps me defend against other...
So
Melee weapons?
what defensive does is it gives you melee defense 1 while you're using it, which means that anytime somebody tries to hit you in melee, you'll add a setback die to their checks. And yeah, you can write that down because presumably when we get into combat, you're always going to have this thing out.
Alright.
Pierce 3 means you're going to ignore 3 soak. Unwieldy 3 means you need to have that 3 agility, which I believe you took.
Yes.
If you didn't have 3 agility, it would be harder to use because this thing is just... It's perfectly balanced and it requires you to be really...
But it does use brawn, right? It doesn't
does
use
use
agility.
brawn,
Okay.
yeah. But it's a good thing you have that 3 agility anyway. Otherwise...
I wouldn't, yeah. I'd be
you'd
embarrassing
kind of suck with
myself.
it.
Yeah.
And then reinforced is that quality we were talking about. It's unbreakable, basically. It cannot be sundered. Also, if you do want to two-hand kata fight with it. It also gains Vicious 2, which means it's going to you're going to be able to do some really nasty crits to people.
All right.
Nice.
Do both hands have to be mine, or can we like
No,
each
you-
have one, like
Yeah.
Power Ranger it, and we like defeat the villain?
I'm going to say no.
All right. All right. So it does damage 3, and it says crit 2. What does that mean?
So crit 2 is just how much advantage it takes to trigger a critical, inflict a critical injury when you roll a check.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend 2 of your advantage to cause it to crit someone. The damage is added to your brawn, so you have brawn of 2, right?
Yes.
So it's damage 5.
All right. All right.
It seems like it's a low damage, but with its ability to ignore some armor, it's actually much more effective than it sounds. And really... Yeah, we're not really going to get into weapon customization, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
But that's there if you want to
But
do
there
it.
is that. But that is an option.
We currently all don't have clothes on either, so we gotta figure that out too. We gotta get some.
So
armor
everyone
clothes.
basically starts with street clothes that are that have no in-game effects. So if you want, so some of you start with some armor options.
I got some armor.
Yeah, so you
Wow.
got like a what is it, a bulletproof vest basically?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I probably wear it like underneath, like a hoodie or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so you've really got the undercover cop in some ways, except a surgeon mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the rest of you, unless your starting gear came with some armor, you're basically just hoping you don't get hit.
Oh man. Well, I do have money for some durable clothing.
Hey, you just
Yeah.
dodge out of the way.
Yeah.
Just run away.
What are you
Durable
thinking?
clothing is probably what I'm doing.
Like that's like
I feel
literally
like
the
soak
only thing I
is-
can afford.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming I can't lend you money yet. We haven't started
Well,
the story.
yeah, and
Yeah.
technically the credits you actually rolled to start with, you can't spend on gear.
Oh, okay.
That's your pocket money.
So
Sure,
we're
sure,
so
sure.
we're already where we're at.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
That's
Alright.
that is the one. That's the one drawback of choosing
Yeah.
starting gear is.
Yeah.
But
I feel like Shad would wear fancy clothes anyway.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
wouldn't be walking around in an optical camouflage suit.
No.
or just riot armor. So.
yeah. No, you're wearing fancy cloak
Yeah.
clothes,
Yeah.
some kind of future styling. Maybe it's got like electrical filaments in it, so it like projects holograms over
Oh,
you
yeah.
or something.
Oh, for sure.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Hologram clothes?
of
Yeah.
course.
Maybe like you don't even have a shirt; it's just a hologram on your chest. Then when you need to show off your genosculpted physique,
I'm just gonna
it,
write
like, fades away
I'm just gonna
and
write
you're like,
hologram
yeah,
shirt in
look at
notes.
that.
and then put a question mark at the end.
Yes. So then we just have to decide like motivations, correct?
Yes, that is a good point. Let's talk about motivations. So the motivations are from the Genesis core book. You can roll randomly if you want, but you can also choose them. And so you're going to have 4 motivations. It's your strength, your flaw, your desire, and your fear. So 2 positive, 2 negative.
47.
Yep, page 47 of the core. So let's start with everyone's desires. So what do you all want more than anything? And now this is one place where if you want to come up with your own that isn't on this chart, totally fine. If your desire is very specific to just want to rejoin Miranda Rhapsody's band, sure.
I've moved on. I'm not bitter about it at all.
I feel my desire is fairly obvious. Maybe it'll be similar to Ritter's, but I want vengeance on the man or woman who framed me.
I thought you were going to troll us with like, safety. I want everyone to be okay.
My desire would be belonging. I really want to be a bounty hunter and like, fully fledged, none of this non-lethal nonsense.
Belong to the Order of Bounty Hunters.
I'll know that I have achieved this when I bring in my first bounty dead.
I can't wait till I'm able to kill someone.
What if they're wanted alive, though?
Well, I mean, they
It
would have to be
doesn't matter.
wanted. No, they'd have to be wanted
Okay,
dead.
okay.
rules?
There are rules.
Shad is going to be a character that seeks the limelight and wants to be famous. He pursues anything that can garner attention and praise, so I'm choosing fame.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Vengeance, it was a toss-up.
Okay.
But I'm like, I don't think we're going to be encountering Miranda Rhapsody probably. So I'm like,
definitely.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
You will not be.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so like,
I think Fame's a good choice. All right, so let's talk about your fears.
Oh boy.
So this is that like deep primal motivation of what you fear and what you work so very hard to avoid. So your desire is what you want, and the fear is, well, it's what you don't want more than anything.
oof, mine's definitely. My character wishes to be remembered after they're gone and works tirelessly to secure their legacy. Mine's going to be obscurity.
Very good.
Mine is also going to be obscurity, but kind of a different take on
Yeah.
it. Obscurity as in, like, I am afraid of slipping into the faceless ranks of bioroids, that they are all
Ooh,
identical,
nice.
and
I
there's
gotta chill, I gotta chill
nothing
there.
sets them apart. It's like, I'm going to make a name for myself and be my own robot, and obscurity is my fear.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So after working in the corporate system, just being a drone for so long, and this experience I've had, I feel a little free, and I'm afraid of slipping back into that nothing life. I think obscurity might be mine as well. Like, I want to leave a mark. I want to have a legacy. I just don't want to work, and then die. So,
Okay. So
we're just
all
the
of-
obscurity
Yeah.
brothers. That's right. Looking to
I like
make our
that.
mark.
Yeah.
All right, and all of you are afraid of just ending
We
as one of
could
the faceless
have a
masses into
3-act.
Yeah.
We could open up our own trope and do our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a great
No?
legacy.
I don't want to be
Alright.
officially affiliated with you. I think it would harm my standing with the police.
Oh man, let's talk about strength. So this is the part of your psyche that like it keeps you going. This is this is the part. If you were describing yourself on your resume and they're like, "What do you bring to our company?" You're like, "I am this thing." So I am too honest.
I feel like, as a,
You seem like your character could be very adaptable.
I was thinking analytical as a bioroid.
Oh, sure.
It's your character's mind is like a computer. My mind is literally a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I'm feeling witty. Your character is extremely clever. With the right joke for a friend and the perfect insult for a foe. Some may love their company while others loathe their cutting remarks.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But none can deny that your character has the sharpest tongue around. I think I'm going to choose witty.
All
Yeah,
right.
very nice, very nice.
You know what? I love rolling dice. So,
All right.
let's
All right.
see what my biggest.
Give me 1 for 10s.
Yep, 1 for 10s. That's a 9.
9.
And
Okay.
so I think that.
Oh, no.
94.
Yep.
Okay,
Witty.
so I'm also witty. Hey, we'll both be witty.
That may be what got you there. Like,
Yeah.
get him out of here with his wisecracks.
That's right. That manager's just like,
Both are afraid of our wit being obscure. Too.
You're like dueling a runner that's trying to hack, and you're like cracking wise.
all right. And then finally we have your flaw. This is the part you don't put on your personality. You don't put on your resume. It's something that just you're not super proud of. You may not actually even be aware of it.
So Shad would say his flaw is he has no flaws. So I think that puts Shad in pride. Pride does not always have to be a flaw, but it can easily become one. Your character is arrogant, vain, and self-absorbed, or thinks highly of themselves at the expense of others. So do pride.
I want my flaw to be the same flaw I had during character creation, and that is recklessness.
Yeah. I think that my flaw will be compulsion with literally my directives playing that role.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. All that leaves is the minor bits of bookkeeping for like strain threshold, wound threshold, that kind of stuff.
And we'll do that
Yeah.
off camera.
I think so.
But so that was character creation
Yeah,
with Shadow
that's
the
fun.
Beanstalk. Thank you everybody so much for watching. This was a ton of fun for us at least. I hope it was fun for you as well. And come back and join us on Thursday. Thursday at 1 o'clock, we'll be playing a little one-shot adventure with these very characters.
Starring Shad Stasny.
What
Title
else?
character.
What else happens on Thursday?
On Thursday, well, let me tell you, this very book, Shadow of the Beanstalk, is available, and you can get it
Yeah.
at your local retailer. So thank you once more, everybody, for watching. Be sure that you subscribe by clicking the little bell icon so you can get notified whenever we go live or post new content. Join us on Thursday, as we've said, for a full session of the Shadow of the Beanstalk RPG. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check out the FantasyGames.com website. And thank you, everybody, for watching. So we will see you all next time.